Welcome all you +2 comedy modifiers back to the stream. Welcome back to Solving the Witness, a laid-back annotated Let's Play that shows me how dirty my glasses are every time I sit down. Coming to you live from the Black Void. And we're doing things a little out of order today. Usually me, player Noah, is in the past, and then editor Noah comes in from the present to kind of correct or expand upon things that are seen in the Let's Play. But it's time for a mailbag episode. So the mailbag, we made a couple promises. One, I wanted to sit here on the pause screen, thus with my eyes closed, to see if anything kind of comes up here. So I'm going to leave this like this. In the event I need to go look at something, I got the controller right here. We can go explore. But I just wanted to see if anything of note comes out with my eyes closed in this kind of menu screen. Mostly just because of Braid. In Braid, just sitting there and waiting was a big part of solving one of the puzzles. So I was just curious if I sat here with my eyes closed long enough, if I'd see anything. I have the bonus issue of this is me looking at the screen. This is me looking at the camera, and since this is a mailbag episode, I'll be talking to the camera a lot. When I look back on the screen, I just see my ring light, so that's a problem, but we'll deal with it. I also got the trusty iPad here, and we're going to go through, and I'm going to read past questions and comments that were left on my videos, and we're just going to read through it. I started a bit late today because I hadn't used my PlayStation 4 in so long that it had to update like 9 times. But we're going to read through this, and as always, chat is on screen, so if you have anything to add, please let me know. So, first off, this is on the mailbag episode. In the mailbag episode, Draken84 says, thank you so much for doing this, mentions that he prefers that I not read these ahead of time, which, no problem. That's not a problem. But this is the one thing, I did read a little bit of this while things were updating. The puzzles that have the same solution were not melted by the sun, but on the kiln that they're attached to. This is referring to the melted panels that are in the symmetry house, the boathouse. And I said, it looks like these have been melted by the sun, and that's what makes them difficult. This goes against my theory that there is no time, which I want to stop saying. I'm going to say that the sun is artificial. My theory that the sun is artificial because the sun doesn't move. The sun can't move because if it did, all the shadow puzzles wouldn't work. So if the sun is stationary, it never moved over there to melt those panels. That is a fantastic solution to a problem that I brought up. So thank you so much for that, Draken. Draken also goes on to give me the 6 principles that the game is based off of. So we'll go through those again, just because I think this is something that we tend to come back to, and I never have enough information about. So these are the 6 principles of the witness. Basically, each one of these, it ties into one of the videos in the windmill, which we need to do a windmill stream soon. Which I don't think I've actually brought this up, because I meant to. I'm much later in the game. Like, this is like where I currently am versus where we are on YouTube. I'm much later, as in like I finished the mountain. I finished it. So I don't want to say too much because, you know, spoilers for those of you coming along the ride on YouTube. But that's where we are in reality. So basically the 6 principles are skepticism. You have to ask the right questions to get the truth. Relativism. We can't know anything for certain. Faith, there's a big truth, but it's worth harming yourself for. Fatalism, finding the truth can be dangerous and might not be worth it, which is the thing I'm always worried about. Non-dualism, you are focused on the problems that you can see, that you are not seeing that those problems aren't relevant. This is basically you are blind by your own preconceptions, which I bring up a lot in my videos. And acceptance, you are too close to the problem. You have to take distance from it and accept that you might not find the solution. So an acceptance that it might be fruitless. I'm really stuffed up. I'm not sure if you can also hear that. So thank you so much, Draken, for that. Hey, Jay Cutts is here. What's up, Jay? Everything is futile. I don't think so. I don't like to subscribe to feudalism personally. I like, I was going to just say optimism, but I also enjoy just chaos. So I'm going to sit back and watch it and enjoy the fireworks type guy. Pedro Paulo also left me the 6 different types of videos, or the 6 principles, which I appreciate. A lot of the comments here are like, your assumptions at this time are correct. I don't know exactly what's being referred to there. Probably should have read these ahead of time. Patrick Burton wants to talk about the other animals. There are the koi fish by the Symmetry Island, which I believe I found, and the octopus. I don't know if I've ever actually looked upon the octopus, but yeah, there's an octopus behind the castle, which I'll have to look for, because I don't think I've ever actually seen it. More talking about the kill. Okay. So that's it for that one. Now we'll move on to my next video, which was frustration. Lots of comments on this one. Matthias says, on the blocked path, that is what my gut feeling tells me. I see progress in terms of the framed puzzles as an analog or metaphor for intellectual insight. The different areas of the game might represent different paths of knowledge, or areas of knowledge, or separate perspectives. When you activate a laser, this is an analogy for having mastered a certain area of knowledge. Completely agree with that. The paths in the game world that you can traverse are literally different ways of approaching puzzles or questions, i.e. different sequences of thought that can lead to certain solvable questions. Okay, so basically the hypothesis here is that the lasers represent understanding. Like, you can't solve a laser without understanding all the ways to get there. But the fact that there's multiple ways physically to walk there, and like order to do it, kind of represents like the journey of knowledge, which I think is great. Chaotic neutral. Yes, I am a tornado. Chaotic neutral. What else we got here? In this framework of understanding, what does the block path mean? Because I was talking about a blocked path in the pathway. It quite easy. It means that that as you progress in gaining knowledge, there are certain ways to think become inaccessible to you. Oh, know what? I know exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm discussing the fact that in the Sound Forest, there was that one moment where you have to hit a panel and it opens up like a doorway or like a flap, and there's like panels on the other side to be solved. But the way it opens, it blocks you from going back, and you have to like run around in order to activate them. So they're basically saying that this is a metaphor for when you learn something that contradicts something you already knew, you no longer can use that path of knowledge. It becomes blocked off and you have to find a new way around, which is a good metaphor. I don't know if that's exactly what the game was trying to show by that. I think it was just trying to piss me off, but that's me. Matthias also says, just wanted to let you know that I really enjoyed the mailbag episode. Well, here's another one. You have a talent in understanding people. Yay! Also find it amazing how you almost create something of a dialogue between different commenters. I mean, this is meant to be... this is Twitch, first and foremost, and then it goes to YouTube. And, Twitch is all about, like, communication. Like, I'm talking to Jay, and I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to Matthias all at the same time. I'm very talented. But, like, the idea of this Let's Play, and most of my Let's Plays, is, like, I'm not a theorist. I'm not Matt Pat. I'm not Treesicle. I'm not Film Explained. I'm not coming in to my videos like, I have the answers. Let me present them to you. I approach the same types of problems from more of a Let's Player point of view, where it's like, I don't have the answers, but I'm going to figure it out in front of you. And if you want to come along on the ride and help me out, and we can figure it out together, that's really what the community I'm trying to build here. So, yeah, it's supposed to be a dialogue. It's supposed to be a team effort. Like, I don't have the answers. I'm helping create ways to the answer. This is just me honking my own horn now. Also, did you know Jonathan Blow lately gave an interview on the YouTube channel's Theory of Everything? I never did watch that. I will have to watch that again. Theories of Everything. Because, I mean, it's Jonathan Blow. I got to hear what he's got to say. It's a pretty long interview, but I found it inspiring. I built some IKEA footage while listening to it. All right. Draken said, also talking about the wall, as I'm touched upon in my previous answer on the video on this area, is how it blocks your perception. All elements of this area are about it's difficult to see the truth. Everything in this area makes it difficult. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Going back to the kind of like what's the word I kept saying here? Principle of the witness. One of the key principles being like we are blinded by our own preconceptions. Like it could also be we are blinded by distraction. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. That like the whole lesson of that area, this is the noise forest again, the bamboo forest, is that it is all about things getting in the way. Like the cell phone ringing, blocking your ears from hearing, and then something physically blocking you from moving. Yeah, I think that whole area is about distraction. I know I called this episode frustration, but I think distraction is actually a better, more key word. Patrick says, hooray for Laura. I'm not sure what the context is there, but hooray for Laura. Pedro says, this is my least favorite laser. Jonathan Blow actually said that this laser is visible from the mountain, so players that didn't find it had an inclination that they missed something. This is very true in that I don't think this has come up in the Let's Play, but the sound forest is the last laser I get. I go through the sound forest and then I don't find the laser beam and I kind of just wander off. And it is not until I go up the mountain that I'm like, oh crap, there's a laser right there that's not on. So that's funny. Yes, hooray for Laura. This is a comment from Draken about the statue of the painting lady. This is the artist. It kind of intrigues me. The colors seem to imply that the overgrowth we see everywhere isn't supposedly to be there, and the walkway machinery isn't supposed to be there too. It seems like this could imply that the statues were there before the puzzles were made. This is something that I believe I do end up saying in another video. I love that the colors perfectly match on the easel of the statue woman, looking down at the marsh area. But she doesn't have gray, so she doesn't have the machinery, so that the statue is there before all this other stuff is added. I like that as a concept. I like the idea of trying to create a timeline of the island, of like what was there before and what wasn't there and what was placed when. The idea of the statues being there first is kind of something I really like. It's kind of confusing with the whole swords with earpieces in the keep. It's like figuring out a timeline of the island never seems to make sense. But this is like concrete, like the statue, evidence, or at least implied evidence that the machinery and stuff were not there when the statue was placed there. However, I believe that that's an algae farm. So the machinery being there is kind of what gives it the color, because they're focused on separating the colors of the pawns. The idea that the pawns would naturally be those different colors doesn't make a lot of sense. I have to blow my nose. I'll return in a moment. Matthias comes back and says, one observation about the dirty copy style of the movie codes. Okay, so I have a theory that the windmill codes, the codes that are behind like the doors that play the movies in the windmill, they appear to come from a bad copy machine, like a dirty copy machine. So Matthias responds to that saying, if they were clean, you would have to be able to solve them right there on the paper. But as they are full of white lines that break the puzzle line, they're not actually puzzle. The witness is almost dogmatic about it. When something looks like a puzzle with not breaks or cuts in the shape, then it is a puzzle. There are only a few exceptions to this. I can only think of one exception right now. This is a good point. Hey, Pikachu's, welcome. We're discussing The Witness. I don't know how familiar you are with this game, but I'm reading comments from past videos. I brought apart, this brings up a very interesting theory that I brought up later. I'm calling myself interesting. But the idea that whether or not man can actually create the environmental puzzles. So I think this is a good explanation in game, but I was saying, like, in lore, like, would that work? Like, if it was a clean copy machine and they did just copy that puzzle, would it end up being a solvable puzzle because it's on the island? Debatable. But I kind of put forth the puzzles kind of happen naturally or accidentally, that creating a puzzle may not be something that they can do, an environmental puzzle. But that's a good point on the dirty copy machine theory. Columbus says, I think the blocked path is to force you to understand the geography of the area. That is an interesting way to see it. Like a panelist version of the maze in the keep. I mean, I guess that's literally what that moment forces you to do. When that thing pops up, you are forced to find a new path. And the sound jungle is such a difficult area to maneuver already. Like, there's a lot of things that there's a lot of walking up trees that it's like, is this even a path? And then it ends up being a path. So it's forcing you to kind of learn the area. Kind of like that as an idea. Definitely answers the question. Matthias says the little stone garden besides the temple is giving me the creeps. It's interesting because it looks like there should be a puzzle there. It's super suspicious, but I didn't manage to find any puzzles there. Just some almost puzzles. It's really weirding me out. Well, I think I understand exactly. I'll come back to you, Pikachu's. But I think I understand exactly what you're saying. Matter of fact, I'll go to that area real quick. Is this one right here? The stone area does appear like there should be a puzzle. I think there is a puzzle here, I thought. I thought if you went up there, you could make a puzzle. Now I'm not sure. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah, there's a puzzle here. Yeah, so I almost don't even want to tell you. I almost want to ask you to not watch this because I was about to actually show you a huge spoiler for this game. So I will keep quiet on that. But I will say this: it appears like there should be something here, and there's not. And I would say the reason for that would be No, I was going to say it's because that's man-made and that man put down the stones. But there's so many other things that were man-made that still had a puzzle. So I don't know, but there is definitely one from the perspective that I'm looking at here. Yeah, it's. I'm pretty sure I've done it already, but yeah. All right, PQQ. I am going to double check that puzzle in like a minute. So if you want to save yourself from being spoiled, this game is free on PlayStation. I highly recommend you play it. But I'll give you like a minute to decide if you want to hang out and have it spoiled for you, or if this is a journey you want to go on yourself. This is my favorite game of all time, so I highly recommend you do it. Let's get another comment going here. Draken talks about the photocopier as well. The effect is very clear, but maybe it's possible that we're supposed to be some sort of charcoal trace or something. I don't know about that one. In any case, the question is raised that there should be originals somewhere that we haven't found yet. That is an interesting point. Like, if it is photocopied, then there has to have been an original version. Yes, it's on Steam. Yes, it's on Steam. Play this game. Play this game and report back to me. It's my favorite. And challenge yourself. Don't let some asshole on YouTube spoil it for you. Yeah, but yeah, there would have to be master copies of the things we found in the caves. Let me run to a cave, because there should be a cave like right, literally behind me. Sometimes walking's not the easiest thing in the world. So in here, yeah, so you see how it's like a dirty, like a dirty printer. Like this was run through a printer. I guess the idea would be that this would be solvable if there were the lines going through it. But technically that's what that open circle means. So I don't know if that's an acceptable answer for this. But yeah, then that would reply that this is not the original, and then where are the originals? That is a good question brought up here. Is this a jail? I'm in a jail. I'm dizzy. Yeah, so there's the chisel laptop we talked about. But we want to talk about this. So the idea is that these two people are having an argument over truth of some sort. And she's referencing something, and he's holding this book over his heart and kind of being dismissive of whatever point she's making. So the idea is that whatever this man's belief is, whether it be faith or whether it be science, doesn't allow him to see her point. And it's leading to his demise because he's about to fall off the mountain. So that was my kind of interpretation of this. Oops. Sorry, I got this password protected. I've also broken my head open over the meaning of the metal panels under the stone piles. It clearly tells us that the piles of stones are built there and that they are trying to build something. It might slightly signify something more, but I'm not sure yet. The inner walls you can see are mostly destroyed and clearly a hexagon, and the pillar that they are building seems to be right behind one of the points of the hexagon. So yeah, I was just talking about this. This implies that these stones were moved here and that they're building something. I was thinking perhaps a dome, like they're trying to block out where all the lasers are going. Just my theory. But I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a flat surface that they could build on. Still don't quite understand why it's like, whoa, I almost got decapitated by a laser. Shot that right through my brain. But yeah, I have no idea why it's like that. And neither do the comments. There's a super long quote up here. And Draken goes on to say the super long quote is mostly about letting go of things and taking distance, which is theme 6. I describe how this American starts out just identifying with the U.S. It's an astronaut leaves this quote. But when they let go, they start identifying with other parts of the world. He's gaining knowledge and letting go of his identity. I like the observation of the river puzzle is standing on some hexagons. Not sure about how many ideas you put out there, but this could be something. I think the idea of this puzzle is something you want to copy is okay, but it doesn't actually fit with the lore of the game. I forget what I say here. The character in this game doesn't have any way to copy anything, so it'd be a blatant fourth wall break if that was the reason for it. I don't know what I'm talking about there. It's tough because the comments are good here. There's like Pedro says something like, "I think you're more than right with the metaphor at 420 or 1402." Sorry, I had a dyslexic moment, but I don't know what I say at that. I don't want to watch the videos on stream. Yeah, but we talk about the power of the hexagon. Patrick says, for your faith versus science, you can see it the other way around. The woman is arguing faith, and the man has a science book in his grasp. Yeah, so originally, I kind of took this to be like, this is a Bible. That's why it was over his heart, and his wife is screaming, or woman. I don't know why I would think they're married. I don't think they have wedding rings. I don't see a wedding ring. Nope, don't see a wedding ring, so they could just be people. And she's yelling about science, and he's like, no, but my faith, and he holds it over his heart, and then he's going to fall onto that climber there. But it could be seen the other way, that she's like talking about faith, and he has a science textbook. And I think the fact that it could go either way is exactly the purpose of this. Like, the fact that both of these people suffer from the prejudice of their own thoughts. Like, this person is already committed to whatever's in the book and thus cannot believe anything that's being taught or told to him by this woman, whether it be factual scientific data or her current faith. He's already made his decision, and thus he can't accept whatever other new information is coming in. So this is kind of that blinded by our own preconceptions notion. Pedro thinks that the idea of speedrunning the witness is also stupid, which is a statement I made and then retracted. Because I thought it would be silly to waste your time speedrunning it, but if you're speedrunning it, you've already done all the good parts of this game. About the frustrating wall, I really like the theory that I'm starting to think how the layout of the other areas relates to different common concepts of knowledge. Here's some ideas. In the treehouse, there are 3 paths and bridges in this path that can go to each other, and this area uses the other symbols found in the game. That could represent how you can use a concept of an area's knowledge in another area to help you progress in this area. Okay. Similar area is the quarry, but I think the message is different because the quarry requires this other symbol to make sense. So the quarry could represent complex field, that to even begin to learn, you need to understand other concepts. Okay, because, yeah, I would say that the quarry area is about relations because you need to understand what the new symbol, how to use the new symbol by knowing how the previous symbols work. So I kind of see what you're saying there. The keep has optional paths too, but to really understand the meaning of the keep, you have to do both. All right, yeah. So each one has a kind of like a different way to see things, a different way to understand knowledge, and like the keep is about choice, but needing to know both. I guess that would make Shady Trees like opposing ideas, and how they both could be true, like staying in the light and staying in the dark. This is a good idea. I like this, Pedro. Prestidigitist says speedrunning this game is a different sort of discipline, but I wouldn't say it's a dumb idea. For one thing, there is a design decisions and controller functions that suggest Jonathan Blow had speedrunning at least partially in mind when developing the game. Now, like I said, I originally said that I thought speedrunning this game was dumb because this was about slowly reflecting. But if you've already done that, if you've already completed the game and you know it so well and you want to keep playing, I understand the idea of speedrunning it. You can be sure Blow appreciates speedruns because he included a speedrun timer as his inaugural part of his previous game, Braid, not to mention something that might not actually have encountered yet. This person is referencing the challenge. More than that, the kind of person who decides to speedrun The Witness are folks that have already played the game through multiple times and have had the enlightening experience and celebrating. Yes, I apologize to the speedrun running community of The Witness. I took shots at you that were undeserved. I don't think speedrunning The Witness is stupid. Matthias, I agree with you. I'm sorry. Columbus says, I disagree with you regarding speedrunning. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everyone about my jokes about speedrunning. I still like the bit I did in this video, though. Moving on to colors. Thank you, by the way, for all these comments. They're much appreciated. And this will be the one. This will be the end of this episode because one, my throat is killing me, and two, it is almost 4:30 and I have to get going. So, Matthias represents the game Antechamber to me. Antechamber was so freaking hard for me. I just had to quit pretty early on. I didn't get satisfaction. However, if you haven't played Portal yet, come on, man. You simply have to know. Of course I've played Portal. Of course I dropped my controller and now I'm running into walls, but yeah, she's just on my desk at all times. Of course I've played Portal. Who do you think I am? Who do you think I am? I love Portal. Thank you for your suggestion. I've played Portal a lot of times. I will probably play Portal again on this channel at some point because I love it. Also recommending Quantum Continuum. Oh, let me tell you, J-Cut, since you brought this up, I'm no longer allowed to play Portal Pinball in this house because I would get so into Portal Pinball that just like I'd have all my focus in Portal Pinball, just silently staring at the screen, and then the moment I lost a ball, I would freak out and just start punching the couch, and then I wasn't allowed to play anymore. I have not played The Long Dark. I can add that to the list. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It is a pinball version of Portal. I played it way too much. I was in the top 100 high scores of that game for a while. Digital. Zen Pinball. I'm gonna come over very soon. Oopsie. So what else do we have here? Draken. This is the episode where I go into the greenhouse. So we can go down to the greenhouse if need be. But for now, back to closing your eyes. See if there's anything there. I'll have to look through this while I'm editing. The first puzzle only looks like an S because you solved it that way. Yes, I make a mistake where I'm like, look, I solved this and it makes a letter. There were multiple ways to solve the same puzzle that didn't have to be an S. So I was just seeing things that were not there. Okay, so the elevator in the greenhouse, there's another way to solve it that I miss, in that it is identical to another puzzle. So there's like a bit of a foreshadowing thing that goes on here. A lot of people brought it out in the comments, and I just wanted to shout it out because that's really cool. I keep making this comment in this video that nothing's made out of wood, but the windmills... I say this for a while and I'm just wrong. So just again, I know I'm wrong and I'm sorry. A couple more game suggestions in here. La Mulna 1 and 2. Don't know that one. I'll have to give that a try. Luke Leslie posted on this video, oh man, he missed the secret ending where he got crushed by the elevator. April Fools. I appreciate a good April Fool's joke. So we didn't make it as far through this as I had wanted to, so we will do another Q&A tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining me here. The Long Dark is a cool ghost town. All the power's cut off, but when you can see the northern lights, all the power... Ooh, that does sound pretty interesting. I got a bunch of games on the to-do list currently. The next one on the list was going to be Stanley Parable, because the new Stanley Parable came out for consoles, and I really want to play it. So that one might be next. I know Pikachu's just sent me 2 more puzzles to do. And then Tunic, Return of the Overdin, and it's called like Masquerade or something, are also like competing for spots here, and Subliminal are all competing for spots here on the stream. But currently, the schedule will remain as follows. Monday is for The Trial, which I just found out has only been solved by 2 people. So I'm looking to be the 3rd person to solve The Trial. Not Prawn over on Patreon on Tuesdays. Wednesday will be for The Witness. Thursday is for Steven's Sausage Roll. And Friday will be for Roach Profits. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of the Witness Mailbag. We'll run it back one more time next week. And I will see you all next time. Where's the controller? Found it. Boop.